Alrighty, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Let's Talk Biz. I am super excited because I have an amazing special guest on here, Miss Kyla Hallums. Here she is on. Awesome. Let me go ahead and bring her on here so you can go ahead and get started and wait for a couple more people to join on. I think we're going on. All right, let's connect. Kyla!
Hello.
How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Just here chilling. Got all pretty for you.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna put on some mascara for Alexis.
How's everything going?
Oh, it's good. It's crazy. It's weird right now.
Yeah.
We're in it. We're in it.
That's the norm. It's all good.
Learning,
That's so good to hear. Well, Kyla, I actually met Kyla because, as I was saying before, she is a professional dancer. And so we had made contact because one of the students at my studio went and did an empowerment dance with you. It was Alyssa and Ashley with Tina as well at New Orleans Salsa Congress. Yes. And so they're like, you guys, we have to bring her. You have to bring them to Florida. We love them so much. And then she had reached out to me. We connected. And then as soon as we met, I'm like, oh my God, this girl is the best person I've ever met in my whole life. I'm like, she's so nice. She's so kind. Okay, be honest. In the dance scene, you meet a lot of people, and a lot of people can be like super cocky, can be super rude, you know what I mean? But like you and Tina were like angels sent from heaven, so it was like the best experience ever. So ever since then, I just love her, and I'm so excited to share her story. So yes, so that's kind of like our basis. But yes, so Kyla, tell everybody about yourself, your background, where you're from.
Okay. I'll give you the short version. I am from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
And my background, my story. I grew up in a small town, and then I moved out into a big city, which was like 20 minutes east. But it was close enough to home where I could still see the fam, but then like far enough away to where I could live my life. And so I found dance in 2014 and completely changed my life. I'm sure you'll get into questions, but I had a surgery that like changed everything. And so I found dance, and my background, I'm a singer. I've been a singer ever since I was like 5 years old.
She sings like an eight. Come on, Kyla, give them something. Just a little something. Give them a little something, Kyla. A little something.
God. What? Okay. I put on the spot. Okay. What if nothing ever will change? Oh, I'm coming to your love in a hard place.
Okay, that was it. More you have to pay for.
Yeah. I can be bought.
Exactly. Okay.
But
nice.
Singer I love my whole life, and I've bartended part-time at a little place in Nashville, get some cash flow in, and whenever I'm not teaching classes and stuff, that artist life,
Yes, exactly. The 10 million job life. I feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said that dance changed your life when you were introduced, which wasn't even like that long ago, and you're absolutely fantastic as a dancer. So like, how exactly did you start in dance? Like, what brought you to it,
Yeah, so I did Zumba for a while. That was kind of like my first introduction to like moving my body in any way, honestly. And so I became a Zumba instructor, and I did that for a minute. And then I went through a breakup in 2014, and we were in like the same circles, and I had just moved to Nashville, and I was like, okay, I don't know, like I just didn't have any friends that were like my friends. Like everything, me and this person had been together for like 4.5 years. So it was like, So I remember the studio that I now teach at, I sat in the parking lot for like 15 minutes before going in. I found this class on like Meetup on an online site. Yeah. And I found this class, and I sat in the car, and I was so terrified. I was like shaking in my boots because I didn't know anyone. I had never danced anything like this before. Yeah. And I was just like, well, all right. So I finally mustered up the courage, and I went in and I took the class and like went to a social that night. Like I'm one of those
that is ballsy.
Oh
Most people would not even dare.
Oh, I was that annoying person that was on the dance floor that was like, oh, sorry. Oh, God, what do I do here? I don't know. Like, that was me.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I'm very much one of those people that's just like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Like, I walked into that class and was like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so I went to the social that night and then I was hooked. I know I haven't been dancing that long. That's why I don't love, and you didn't ask this, which I appreciate, but I don't love the question, how long have you been dancing? Because it's like one person's 4 years compared to someone else's 10 years could be a completely different journey, you know?
It's very true.
So like my 6 years has been like, I mean, I remember in the first like 3 years, like not 3 years, but like the first like year or so, every single day I was like in my house, like I would look up, I remember I like wanted to know what to do like when we broke out into shines.
Oh yes.
If you haven't noticed, I'm very much a person that likes to express herself and not be dependent on anyone else.
Check out her page.
I was like on YouTube and I was like, how to shine in bachata, how to shine in salsa, and I remember I learned like a Susie Q and I'm like, okay.
You're like, I can do this all day. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Yeah, so I just immersed myself. I was going out dancing. If there was a social, which we're lucky in Nashville, there's a lot of socials in Nashville. I was going out dancing like
really? I would have never even known. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a cool scene. But yeah.
Nice. Okay. So basically, you've been doing that. So when you started dancing, how did you exactly like pivot it to then start going like professionally, where you're like teaching and performing and traveling, and so how did that start?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously when I first started dancing, I had no intention of teaching. I didn't know that I had no idea that I would develop a passion for it or anything like that. I just knew that I loved it. And at the time I was studying business and in college, my dad owned a real estate firm. And so I was gonna like, do the thing, marry the dude, live in the suburb, work for my dad. And as dancing came into my life, I think dance comes into our lives and just shows us pieces of ourselves that we didn't even know existed sometimes.
Agreed.
And so like for me, it came in and I was like, oh shit, I have to change everything. Like nothing I'm doing is for me. And wait, what was the question?
No, how did you get into the profession?
Got it. Okay. Yep. I was like, I lost it.
You're fine.
So, so I was like, I was going to school for the first little bit, and then I was dancing all the time and just like loving it. And then I went to a class in Nashville by Terry Ann Atkinson, who she kind of travels around a little bit, but she's from Ohio. She came down and taught a class. And she taught with her partner at the time. Her name was Heather. And I remember being in that class, and I had never led before. I only followed. And I was like, oh, she's leading. Because every class I had ever taken at the time, it was always male leads. And so I was like, wow. And I never even thought about teaching. But then I led in that class because there weren't enough leads. I was like, I'll try it. And I quickly kind of caught on to leading. And then I was like, well, someone asked me if I could teach a class in Nashville, and they were like, we need someone to teach for the social. Would you mind? And I'm like, okay, I don't know. And so I taught, and like, oh my God, I'll never forget that night. It was in this place called Casa As a Friend in Nashville, and like 20 people came, and I was just like, do you know those moments in your life where you're in like your highest vibe?
Yes.
Like in the high vibe. And I was like, oh, I mean, granted, I had no idea what the hell I was doing in that class. Like, obviously, just like a whole pile of trash. But like, I was like, oh my God, it was so fun to just like, because I feel like just as much as dancing is an art and a skill, like teaching is an art and a skill. And like, I've been teaching singing, teaching a lot of different things for a while now. And it had never occurred to me that I could teach dance, because in my head, in order to teach dance, you had to have trained since you were 5 years old and like have to been doing this for a long time.
All the stereotypical stuff that essentially doesn't even matter, because you can be a badass dancer, but a horrible ass teacher.
Oh my God. They're
everywhere.
Absolutely. And so like, and it's been a journey of like, establishing my own worth and finding my own worth without having that background, because there is weird pressure.
It can be intimidating.
Oh my God, 100%. And to work with someone like Tina, who is like incredible, obviously, like, and we're both incredible in our own different ways. And that's why we make the magic together.
Exactly.
But, you know, for me, it's taken some time for me to be like, okay, like, she has trained for so long and is so incredible, and I'm also so incredible for different reasons, and like and that's the beauty of it, that we can come together in that way. I'm sure we'll talk about Tina in a minute, but
yes, exactly. That was my next question.
But you know, I just came into it, and like as far as like making it more of a profession, because at first it was just kind of like, I'll teach a class or two here and there, like in Nashville, whatever. And then as kind of time went on, I was like, you know, figuring out, because I think an important piece of teaching is like figuring out your brand. Like, what are you bringing? What do you want to bring? Because like at the end of the day, people aren't just coming in to learn Susie Q's. They're coming in to heal. You know, they're coming in to heal. They're coming in to find love again. They're coming in for themselves, you know? And so it's taken time, but kind of figuring out that my brand is, you know, to help people love their body and the skin they're in, and know that any body is a dancer body, and things like that. And, you know, so yeah, once I kind of figured out the brand and like what I want to bring, because I knew from the second I started teaching, I knew that it wasn't just dance.
Correct.
Like, I knew that it wasn't just teaching people movement. Like, it was so much more than that, you know? And so as I've kind of figured that out, the more and as I've been able to put it in practice and do it, the more I realize how needed it is and how necessary, like, that this piece is. And, you know, that being said, it's still scary for me to bring it, you know, because it's still feels different, you know? But yeah, and so like once I think I figured that out, it was like ding. And then you know, meeting Tina and having some opportunities be afforded to me that weren't before, you know, us coming together created both opportunities for both of us. And, you know, it helped me be put in a space to believe that I could do it, like that I could do this professionally and not just as a hobby.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Just to explain like a little bit about Tina. So Tina is a badass dancer as well. She's absolutely fantastic. Her message, her vibe, everything about her is so great. Tina Cavicchio. And so they had come down together in South Florida. That's how I met them. And it was because they were doing classes and workshops and things like that together. So just like a little tidbit about how you.
I can't hear you.
It's back. It's back. Sorry. So anyways, so how you met Tina, because I know that your guy, honestly, what attracts a lot of people to both of you and you guys as individuals is definitely your message and, you know, what's behind the dancing. So just like I'll give a little bit about that, like what exactly, you know, your messages are that you really want to put out into the world, what makes you different compared to a lot of other people who are just about, you know, maybe competing or maybe, you know, just a bunch of different things that, you know, could be different. But something is so different about you guys that I love. So just explain a little bit about that.
Right. Okay. Someone says, and I can hear the feedback. I wonder, let me try and move. I'm going to go in the bathroom. Is that weird?
Girl, do what you got to do, girl.
Yeah.
We're taking a trip with Kyla. Taking a trip with Kyla.
Okay, wait. Is it feedback?
No, not
Hear
really.
it.
I mean, I can hear it a little bit, but I mean, I hear you. Like, I'm not like, I'm like, oh my God, Kyla.
Okay, well, we're going to do an interview. I'm going to sit on the toilet, but it's closed, okay? So we're good.
It's all good. Oh, a nice background too, you know? It's cute.
I'm in my aunt's house. I'm dog sitting right now.
Ah, okay. It's a little bit, but it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, I think she like froze for a second. Hold on. It's going back. It's going back. Uno momento. I hear you. I know you're connecting soon. I think the bathroom might have bad Wi-Fi. I think it's the bathroom might have bad Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's guys, this is all good. It's all good. It's okay now. Yeah, it's okay. It's loaded. It's going. It's going. Okay, now it's a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Boom. We're back.
Okay. I am next to the router.
It's okay. It was good before, and then the bathroom, it was just more of like a scenery thing. But it's okay. We're going back. Yeah, don't worry. We'll make it work. Technology is great when it works. Correct.
It is. Yes. Okay. All right. So where were we?
Anyways, so let's repeat. Okay, so back to so the message about what you like to bring forward. You were kind of touching on it a little bit, but how it kind of happened where you decided to kind of pinpoint where you became more than dance, and like the message especially as well that you and Tina bring. I mean, you guys go and dance and teach together. So just kind of like expanding a little bit about that, how that happened.
Yes. Okay. So Tina and I, we met at an event in Detroit in April of 2019. So we've only known each other for like a year, which is insane to both of us.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. But we met in an event there, and one of the people that was working there, they really liked our vibe together, which, I mean, we didn't even know what that was yet. We met and like immediately clicked, and I have plenty of stories that we could go into, but I'll try and stick to the script for this one. So I think over time, so the Rubia, who owns NOLA SBF, she was there at that event, and she was like, would you guys be interested in hosting like an empowerment challenge? And we're like, yes. So we then worked together, and as we like kept working together, we didn't have any sort of intention or plans to like work together as a partnership at all. This was just one kind of thing we were doing. But as we learned more about each other and as we worked together, we vibed really well together, and like professionally and personally and all the things. And then in New Orleans, I was teaching a class, and then they were like, well, why don't Tina just teach it with you? So we kind of collabed on it and did our first class together was in NOLA. And like, it was just so beautiful. And like, it's just, and I hope every single teacher that works with anyone ever gets to feel the magic of like working with someone that respects you, like for exactly what you bring in that moment, and offers space for you. And I think we both did that on both sides, which is what brought that magic into it, you know? Definitely. And so as far as our message goes, I think, you know, I think Tina had her message kind of a little bit more figured out than I did, just because she's been in the game a little bit longer. But I think through working with her and having these opportunities, I was able to figure out, like, you know, that my message is this empowerment thing, and like body love and body image and all those things. And for Tina, like, she brings a representation.
Yeah.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I see you. It's kind of like breaking up and in, but it's nasty.
Okay. Oh, so annoying. Okay. I am gonna move just a smidgen close to the router and see if this happens.
Yeah. Do what you gotta do.
We're gonna have to move my friend here, my little aunt's dog.
Is it the doggy you're watching?
Say hi. This way. Okay.
He's like, what are you doing to me?
Right. He's like, all right, that's enough with the moving around. I know. Okay. Is this a little better?
Yes, slightly. I'm like wondering if I bring you like out and in, if it will make a difference. Let's try that. Yeah, let's try. Okay, I'm gonna bring you out and then I'm gonna join you back in. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I'm going to bring her back in. Give me one moment. If I can find. Okay, there she is. Boom. All right, let's try. Let's have her accept. Boom, boom. All right. Ah, boom.
Better?
Way better.
Oh, okay.
I know. Oh, so good.
The struggle. Okay.
I know.
So the message that I think, so for Tina, she brings in this like beautiful representation in the queer community and as a female leader, and then me bringing this like, you can dance in any body, you know, kind of thing. And those are two very different things, but I think they work really well together. Yeah. And I know she and I both try and provide safe spaces for like any gender, and like we say leaders and followers, and we never, you know, teach ladies styling classes. We teach styling classes. And, you know, that's really important to us. Just, I think she and I both are just very committed to creating safe spaces for anyone and anybody with any sexuality, any race, any whatever, like for you to have a safe space to exist.
Definitely.
And so
No, I love that. And you know what's actually, so just to show your influence, so actually once you guys came into that workshop at the studio, like our normal language that we would teach is like, oh, all of the ladies go ahead and line here, and then all the men, you know, go ahead and grab a lady or whatever. And ever since then, like I was talking with Scott, and I was like, I think like we should change like the way that we do this. And so ever since then, we're always saying like leads and follows, like whenever we're doing class. And people were like a little bit confused for like a hot second. They're like, especially if they were new to the studio and they've never done any type of Latin dance, bachata, salsa, whatever. They were kind of like, am I a lead? Am I a follow? I'm like, listen, you can be whatever you would like to be. Like, oh my God, whatever you would like to do. And you know, some of the old school people were like, but there's actually a story of this this lady who came in. She was a lesbian, and she came into the studio, and she was like, came after class, and she's like, you know what, I just want to say thank you because you made me feel so comfortable, because every studio I've gone to has always said ladies and gentlemen, and I consider myself to be a lady, but I like to lead. So it was really nice to hear leads and follows because I just felt so comfortable. And I was like, oh.
Yes, like that. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, yes, it has to do with like making sure people are comfortable in their like sexualities and genders and all that stuff. But I mean, it also plays a role in like, I am a woman and I need to be in this role. Like, you know, like, and it starts, and like Tina and I have talked about this all the time. Like, where does the change come in? Like, where do we stop getting this rhetoric that like you have to be a male to lead? Like,
correct.
And it happens like that. It happens in the studios. It happens it starts with the teachers.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the second that we make something normal, it becomes normal for our students. And it's just like a no-brainer. And then they go to a class somewhere where they're like ladies, and they're like, huh? Come on, you know? And like, if I wouldn't have walked into that class that day with two women teaching and one of them leading, I don't know that I ever would have taught. I don't know that I ever would have felt like I
can do it.
You know? Yeah. I love hearing that. That's so beautiful. And I think Tina and I picked up on that, because we can, like, I remember when we went to Scott's class, like, when we came back and we went to the class, whenever we were like, oh, he says leaders and followers too. And we didn't know if he had been doing that all along, but it takes time, you know? And I think we know it was leaders and follow, like, we all do it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like when you're teaching bachata, like I know when I'm teaching class, I'm like, okay, ladies left turn. I'm like, wait, leads left turn, right, follows right turn.
It takes a second to like change in our mind.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So I honestly love that, just because it's not even like, it's just for everybody. Like, it doesn't matter like gender, sexual orientation, like anything. Like, it's just because anybody, like, I'm a woman, I consider myself to be a woman, and I love my husband, but I love to lead. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. And so I love that you guys have brought that aspect, just because it allows everybody to just have a sense of freedom. It's not necessarily one person or one group. It's like everybody, which is beautiful.
Absolutely. And we love, like, Tina says this all the time, because like people think that we are together literally all the time, like everywhere we go. So we've just gotten used to it. And whatever. We generally, it's like, we don't, if people aren't going to be in our lives for longer than 10 seconds, we don't correct them. We're like, yes, okay, like, you know? But like, we love that, like, you know, Tina is a queer woman and I'm a straight woman. And we think it's so important to have representation on all sides. Like the fact that we are, you know, in a dance partnership that requires intimacy and all these beautiful things, you know, that doesn't mean that you have to be romantically involved in that way.
Exactly. I feel like that's the misperception, especially in like the dance scene. People are always like, well, like, you know, you have to, or that is, or whatever. And it's not necessarily always like that, or especially like social dancing, where it's like, you can also, like, you guys very much as well. Like, what I loved is like, you guys also talk about respect and boundary whenever you're dancing. And that's something that's been so crossed so many times in the dance scene, the Latin dancing specifically with bachata. And people get scared, honestly, to go out socially dancing and dance, because they feel like they're going to be touched the wrong way, or they're going to be taken advantage of, or, you know, a lot of things like that. So like, a lot of things that we've always pushed, like in our studio, is like making sure you're respecting, making sure that's why actually for a hot minute, it wasn't for a while that we actually brought even like a sensual bachata workshop into the studio, because of that aspect where people were nervous, people were scared, people did not feel comfortable, just because there were instances where people have done that or violated them and they felt, you know, super like, oh my God, I never want to do this again. And that is not the intention of dance or Latin dance or bachata or anything. That is not the intention of what it was made for. So
well, and like in some, you know, in some areas, in some places, like there are instructors that promote this like sexual mindset, you know, within the dance, and that is like a massive problem because again, the learning like in our brains and in our bodies comes from our instructors. So if I have someone in front of me telling me do this movement and then making an analogy to it sexually, that matters, and that plays a role in them going on the dance floor and then thinking that there's something sexual going on when there's not. So like, you know, it is so much about consent and boundaries. And like for us, like for Tina and I, like, yes, like there's this like beautiful magical connection that we have, this like chemistry. And like for us, it's just us connecting to ourselves first, to each other, and then to the music. Like, you know, it's all about this like safe connection. And
correct.
I think it's important to like teach that, you know, in the beginning. Yeah.
No, for sure. Well, one thing I did want to ask you is, so I wanted to find out exactly what was like your mindset or like your turning point for yourself where you pretty much were like, I'm gonna be like this confident badass bitch like that's able to help and inspire others. Like what was that like? What was that for you? Because I know that everybody has like this moment in their lives where they're like, okay, like, you know, I was really insecure about something or I wasn't as confident in something, and then something happened where they just like overcame and like straight shooter, you know what I mean? So what was that for you that kind of like helps you to ignite with like your purpose and impacting people and, you know?
Oh, such a good question. And you're right. I do think everyone like it's a moment. Something happens because, you know, the like awakening, if you will. So 2013, I was miserable. I was going to college. I was learning business. I was in a relationship that I didn't even know how to get out of, you know. And I collapsed in a parking lot. And I was out for like 10 minutes, and I woke up, which is literally insane. I woke up and checked my phone, saw that I was out for 10 minutes, called my parents. I couldn't breathe, super short of breath. They came and got me. I was life flighted to Vanderbilt, and I had open heart surgery in 2013. I had a 15.5-inch blood clot that was saddled over my lungs. It was called a saddle pulmonary embolism, and it went in one lung, around my heart, and into the other lung. And it was 15.5 inches, and it came out in one piece. And so it was just like, I know.
Oh my God, I'm like shaking. I'm like,
I know. It's crazy. And it's like whenever I talk about it, like sometimes it feels like I'm talking about a different life, because that actually was like a different life. So I woke up from the open heart surgery, and I had this the I can't remember what it's called, but whatever, the lung machine that like breathes for you. And I'm like fighting with it because I'm like trying to breathe on my own because I had just woken up, but then I've got this thing breathing for me. And it was just such a like terrifying time. I remember when I, you know, they ended up taking the lung machine out, and I, you know, was trying to recover and everything. I was in the hospital for a week, and then it was 7 months, a 7-month recovery, and I had to move back in with my parents because I couldn't move my arms. My sternum had been sawed open. And just everything changed. Like after I woke up, I was like, when that happened, it was like, okay, because every single doctor, every single medical professional that I've talked to is like, we don't know why you're alive. Like blood clots kill people when they are 2 inches long, and mine was 15.5. Like, and it looked like a snake. It's insane. You know, and so like that was just like such a huge wake up of like, okay, I just remember looking around at my life and realizing that every single thing that I was a part of was for someone else. Like every single thing I was doing, I was with this guy because he loved me to death, put me on a pedestal. It didn't matter that I didn't love him because, you know, I had my dad in my ear telling me that, you know, well, you won't find anybody to love you like he does, you know, and then, you know, with school, I got to get my degree. Otherwise I'm not going to be taken seriously. I got to do business or, you know, whatever. I hated my body. I hated everything about my body. I was just eating every single feeling you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was 7 months of just like reflection.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I don't know, it was like something switched. And it took, I mean, I say that like it happened overnight. And I think we tell these stories and it's really easy to feel like this thing happens overnight, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen overnight.
No.
It happened over like 2 to 3 years, honestly, 7 years, because I'm still learning in it every single day, you know, but like it was a very much like a journey of like waking up and being like, okay, I just knew that I needed to start doing stuff that I wanted to do and not what other people wanted me to do. And so I slowly but surely started making those calls and started making those judgment calls and doing those things.
Yeah.
And like, it was fucking hard. And I mean, I broke my family's heart in some ways.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't expect their daughter to grow up and become a professional dancer with a tattoo. Like, you know, and probably more tattoos coming soon. Like, you know, that's not what they expected. And now they've grown to like love you know, me for that. But it's been a journey for them. And it was hard for me too, to like, I feel like, you know, it's really easy to be in a space where when you grow up in a space where people are celebrated for following the status quo, it feels very scary to step out of that.
Definitely.
And I stepped out of it big time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the biggest thing was just stopping looking for the validation in other people and finding it in myself.
Yeah.
And knowing that, you know, this badass inside comes from me and not from anybody else.
Definitely.
And not from the approval of my parents or the approval of my peers, the approval of anyone else. It comes from this place that I have to foster inside myself.
Yeah.
Of loving who I am, everything that I bring today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today.
That's
you know.
good.
Hey, Scott.
My gosh, yo, Jesus, hello, we see you.
Scott's like, give me attention.
I know. Welcome to Scott's world.
Scott, we love you. Hi. But yes, it's been a crazy journey of just like, you know, and I say that like it's so easy, like not needing validation from others. But
no,
like,
it's hard.
Constant
it's
practice
hard.
every single damn day of like, okay, I can do this for myself and not for anybody else, and that's okay. And
for sure.
I'm worthy and all that crap. So yeah, and I think that's what I think that journey is what led me to go on this road of empowering people.
I love
and like and knowing that is not yet, and it will be, just give me some time. Of like these empowerment classes being offered at congresses, these classes on body love and body image at congresses and at festivals and in studios, because it's important, because you cannot expect yourself to fully express yourself on the dance floor and fully be inside your body and expressing through music and yourself unless you love all of it.
It's true. It's
you know,
absolutely true. Now you better preach, Kyla. You better preach, Kyla. Okay. So my last question is for someone who is like an aspiring artist, wants to do what you're doing, you know, wants to go along this path. Like, what is like the one piece of advice that you would give them, you know, to kind of, you know, get going, or whatever it is, however they feel? Like, what would be like the one piece of advice from your journey that you can give them?
I think I would say, if we're talking about, you know, or we'll not even say dance, like whatever your craft is, I think you have to find what grounds you in that craft.
Okay.
Like what grounds you in what you're doing? Why do you do what you're doing? You know, because I think the people that come to us as instructors and as artists, they stay because of our hearts.
Yes.
You know, they stay because of who we are. And I think being grounded in that and knowing exactly who that is so huge. I was talking to someone who wants to start teaching, and you know, they called me and wanted like class structure and like how to, you know, do all the things. And I was like, first off, connect to your heart. What does your heart want to offer these people? What from your heart and your soul, what has changed your life about this thing that you now feel so passionate to give someone else? And I think that there's a way to be grounded in that and not having to spray your story all over everyone. Like, I've never told this open heart story in a class.
I know, I haven't heard this till today.
Ever. I just don't, because I feel like I think it's like we ask people to tell their story, and I feel like it's easy for people to hide behind the words of their story instead of living in it.
That's true.
You know? And so like, I'm like, all right, let me try and do what I can to show my story and to show you this empowerment and show you this badassery that I've learned. It's a learned skill.
Learn, keyword learn.
You know? And like, you know, show it to you. That way, you know, you can have it for yourself. Because I think sometimes when we focus so much on the story, for me on the other side of it, it can feel like I have to have something of that magnitude in order to be able to access this thing. When that's just not the case. You know, it can be accessed no matter what, you know, as long as you're being connected to your heart and your soul and your mind. And I think for me and to any aspiring artist, it's like, sit with yourself in the quiet when people aren't watching and when people aren't giving you the accolades and telling you all the things you're doing right, and figure out why you're in it. Because I think it's very easy to get caught up, myself included. It's important to stay grounded in this whole social media attention and like the hierarchy.
You gotta always go back to your purpose.
Oh my God, the hierarchy of the artist community. And like for me, and I think this is one of the things that we hear a lot when Tina and I work together, and when we work separately as well. It's like we've heard a lot that people feel like, you know, when they've taken from instructors, they feel like the instructor is like at a higher like emotional level than them. And like, not even just in dance, but like you can present yourself whenever you're in an instructing position, you can present yourself in a way that makes people feel small. And I think what I try to do is, you know, present myself in a way that lets everybody know that we are all in this together and we are all on the same playing field. And just as much as anybody in my class is learning from me, I'm learning from their presence.
Yes.
You know, and so I think that's a huge piece for me of like taking out the hierarchy of whatever craft you're in and just giving for the sake of giving for the reason of whatever you're grounded in it for. You know, if you're grounded in empowering people, then does it matter if I have one person in my class or 250? No, it doesn't, because I can, and I say that now. It's really easy to say. And
because it's a little bit like
try and step in, but you know, I think constantly trying to leave your ego at the door and bring your heart in and let that take the wheel whenever you're teaching, and let your ego hang out in the car. You know, and it's such a beautiful thing, and what we do is such a beautiful thing, and I love like watching other people teach, because like you take a class from Scott. Take a class from you, from Tina, all of us separately, like you're gonna get something so different. We could all teach the same exact class.
Correct.
And you could come to each one, and in each one someone's gonna get something like incredibly valuable and
it's true.
That's gonna help them on their journey. And that's another reason why I think like it's so important to support other artists in this. We are not in competition, we're in it together.
Yes.
We are all just here clasping our hands together, helping other people learn how to love themselves and learn who they are, and be able to showcase that with strangers, creating intimate, beautiful connections on a social dance floor.
Oh, so good.
You know?
Yeah.
I just got chills, literally, just like
I know
about social dancing. God, I miss social dancing.
You're gonna make me cry over here, Kyla.
It's on my resume. Makes people cry.
Oh my God, no, but it's so true, and I think it, like you said, I think the main purpose and bringing back to your alignment of who you are and what you're doing and what your true purpose, like in the deeper heart of it, not just about show or ego or people. It really needs to be about like, what impact can I make on this class, on this world, on anything, period. Because if not, you're just going to be like everyone else, and I feel like you kind of almost drain down the pipe, because people are just not, they're not going to connect. It's just not going to connect. And I feel like even like during this whole COVID like craziness that's happened, like some artists have been able to like literally go above and beyond and be so successful because of who they are and their training and what their message is to the community. Other people have just, they've fallen down the drain, because if you're not connecting with people's hearts and making a true impact like in their lives, like that's it. There's no purpose for them to want to learn or train from you or even grow with you. So
definitely 100%. And like I feel like in this time, like I mean this whole past year has been like the game-changing year of like, oh shit, maybe I am going to do this full time, maybe this is real, you know. And then in the last 3 months with COVID, I feel like I was really scared, like the love class that I taught. Like I've had that in, have had that idea in my head for years, and I've been terrified
Yeah.
of it. And then I was finally like, well, I mean, I guess now's the time. And then I did it, and it was beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I feel like, at least for me, this has been a time of like, let me just try some stuff that I've had in my head. And if it flops, then I'll go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then we keep going. Like,
Exactly.
you know, and I think it's been such a beautiful time to create meaningful connections of like, you know, and I think I started like a virtual performance team because I was like,
yes.
I realized, because this was my first year ever having done a team. I've never done a team in my life.
Yeah.
I thought about, like, I've had a couple people contact me about like franchising, but I was like, something in me said like, do your own thing. Like, do your own thing. I don't know why, but something in me was just like, nope.
You gotta follow that intuition. You gotta follow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so I started my first team in Nashville. I had, I know you didn't ask this question, and we're probably going off time, but
It's okay.
I like to talk, and I'm alone forever right now. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, humans. But I started this team. I didn't do auditions. I was like, all right, I want a safe space for anybody of any age, any gender, anything to come and be able to dance.
Yeah.
And so I hosted an open house, and in my head, I was like, all right, to feasibly make this team happen, I need 7 people. I just need 7 people to commit, and I'll be able to pay the studio space. I won't make a dime.
And how many people did you get, Kyla?
Bitch, I had 35.
Hell, motherfucking yes.
35.
Yes.
And then the next week, I was like, all right, if you want to join the team for the 4 months, just show up next week and we'll get started. 35.
Yes. Oh my God.
Unbelievable. But, Scott, I'll sing for you in a second after I tell the story.
I know.
But through COVID, like, I've lost half of them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my first team ever, this amazing, we had like 6 rehearsals together, and then the bottom fell out, and it was like, okay, and we went to Zoom. And so I lost like half of these people, and I've had to have a lot of moments with myself of like, that is not me. That's because some people don't like to learn online. Some people are there for different reasons, and like, it's not fair for me to take that personally.
Correct.
You know? And so, but, and the people who have stayed, like, and everybody on that team was amazing, whether they stayed or not.
Yeah.
But, like, we've crafted this, like, beautiful little family through all this, you know, the people that stuck around. And so, because of that, I was like, let me do a team that's, like, for this. Like, people have consented to learning this way.
Yes.
And so, I've got now my little virtual online team. We got 26 people from all over the nation, like, from Portland, Oregon, to Rhode Island, to Texas, to Florida. Like, just insane.
Wow.
And Kyla Loriano, do you know her?
Kyla, no.
She's in Miami. Anyway, never mind. But it's been like incredible to see like the how dedicated people are right now to still learning for themselves and still creating a community in like whatever way that looks like for them.
Yes.
And like we said earlier, like this is when the heart stuff comes in. Like people right now, they don't need, you know, they don't need to just learn a basic step and nothing else. They need to learn why they deserve to have their body move to a basic step to clear out energies, to clear out whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a tough time, but I think it works if you work it, kind of thing.
Exactly. And girl, you've been working it. You've been working it, girl.
Right? Scott, you got to give us a song. Give us a song. And
I'll come on, Scott. Just pick one.
But yeah,
5 minutes.
It's like, it works if you work it, man. And I've had a lot of people message me about like, well, how do I do this? And how do I do that? And like, I think a lot of people want like the rubric, the blueprint.
There's no blueprint. You can even get a blueprint and it's still not going to be the same thing as if it's not you. Right. It's just not going to
like, I get triggered by those things that are like, here's your 6-step process to doing this. I'm
yeah.
No, get the hell out. Absolutely not. I hate it. I hate those like bullets of the like, how to get 4,000 people in a class in a week. I'm like, I will kill you. Like, no, this is stupid. What are you doing? Like, it's so silly.
Yeah. Okay, listen, Scott is not even like writing us, so I'm just not even gonna wait for him. But anyways, I literally love you, Kyla. This has been so freaking awesome. Like, I don't even care. We can talk for hours and hours and hours.
100%.
I was like, oh my God, we're going to do, but I don't even care because it's been so good. And like the information and what you just said has even like impacted me. So I'm just so thankful that like you've joined on here with me. Like you're my second guest. I'm so So thank you so much.
And thank you. You have to keep doing this.
Girl,
This is so beautiful.
Every week. I
love
really want to use this to like help other women, like just put their platform out there and like make a difference. It's like my dream. It's my dream. But
you're doing it.
Thank you so much.
We're
but guys,
living our dreams, living our best lives.
Look at us, girl. Yeah, okay, I'm done. Okay, so anyways, guys, don't forget, follow Kyla. Her name is Baila with Kyla on Instagram. Follow her journey. Guys, take her classes she offers. Bachata. What days of the week that you offer a class online?
So I do a free bachata class. Oh, Scott's still here. All right.
Oh, hello. She asked you for a song, Scott. You have not answered. Hello.
Yeah, you got to give me a song. What's your favorite song right now? Okay, I teach on Monday nights on my Instagram Live and Facebook Live under Baila with Kyla, and I just do that just donation based. I did that in Nashville, like Mondays were my day, and I just decided, like, let's just keep it going, like, you know. So I do that, and then other than that, I just announce kind of classes. I've really been going down this, like, body love kind of lane, because I just think there's a whole lot of, like, there's a whole lot of classes out there. People can get amazing dance content right now. So I'm trying to focus a little bit more on the other side.
I like it.
And and then my team, I'm doing like 6-week virtual teams. Right now I'm in the middle of one. Then I'm going to take 2 weeks off, and then I'm going to do another one. The next one's going to be salsa.
So check it out, people.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I'm super excited. Okay, a million years ago. All right, you ready, Scott?
Do it. Go for it.
This might be the wrong. I know. All right, here you go, Scott. This is for you. I know I'm not the only one who regrets the things they've done. Sometimes I just feel it's only me who can stand the reflection that they see. I wish I could live a little more. Look up to the sky, not just the floor. I feel like my life is passing by, and all I can do is watch and cry. I miss the air, I miss my friends, I miss my mother, I miss it when life was a party to be thrown. But that was a million years ago. Woo! That was real right now. I forgot what the words were, and I was like, oh God, my feels.
Oh my God, Kyla, you are freaking amazing. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me, guys. Don't forget to check out her page, and we will see you next week.
We'll be in Miami soon. We'll be coming to Florida as soon as this opens up. First stop.
Let's go. All right.
Love you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.